Welcome to the Strong Women's Club, episode number 104.
This is the Strong Women's Club, where successful women share their behind-the-scenes stories of how they got to where they are today. Join us.
Hi, everybody. This is Edie Berg. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm continuing with my Mastermind series by introducing you today to one of my own masterminding friends, meaning that she and I were in our own personal mastermind together, along with 6 other amazing women, plus our facilitator, Natalie Ekdahl. So today I have the honor of having Shelley Warren on the show. The reason why I chose to bring Shelley on is that we can have a little bit more of a personal discussion as to what goes on in a mastermind and what the benefits are, and maybe if there are some difficulties, to talk about those as well. In the interview, you'll hear that we talk about Shelley's business, which is sheconnects.com, where her main mission is to help women find their encore career, help them transition into their dream job, or maybe they have retired already from their first career and now they're starting a new one. Shelley herself transitioned remarkably from her first 25-year career into what she's doing now, and so we talk about that on the show as well. And here's an interesting statistic that I had heard someplace, so I looked it up to check, and here are the exact numbers. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average worker currently holds 10 different jobs before the age of 40, and this number is growing. They predict that today's youngest workers, the new millennials that are now graduating from college, will hold 12 to 15 jobs in their lifetime. So what Shelley's doing in helping people transition into new careers is definitely relevant for people of all ages, and specifically for people who have had a long-term career and now are looking for a new one to reinvent themselves. Another one of the amazing women from our mastermind, Carol Cox, was also on the program a while ago, back in September 2016. Carol is a Democratic analyst for one of the Fox affiliates in Florida. So we talked about the U.S. elections during that time. But Carol also has a company called Speak Your Brand. You can check her out. You can find her podcast number is number 066 and number 66 on the Strong Women's Club. You can get all of her details about what Carol does and how she can help you write your own signature talk. We also talk about being together in the same mastermind program. Now, I had a bit of a mix-up with my microphones here at my little studio office at WeWork. So I actually left my main good microphone at home and had here only my earbuds. So the audio quality was not great. I think you'll hear the difference between what I'm talking on now and what I talked on when I spoke to Shelley a couple of days ago. So please forgive that. I'm sorry about that. I don't like to have poor audio quality, and hopefully it won't be too bad. But I decided to keep it and keep the interview and use it anyway because it's pretty valuable, and I think we'll get a lot out of it. So now I have the great honor and pleasure of introducing to you Shelley Warren. Hi, Shelley.
Hi, Edie. How are you? All the way from Canada. I'm honored to be here. You are truly a good friend of mine, and one of the joys that came out of that mastermind group that we were in is getting to be able to meet women like you who are so influential and so impactful, and from all the way over on the other side of the world.
It's true. Isn't it nice? Thank you for saying that. But what's nice is that really is a kind of a global relationship. It makes the world so much smaller. And even though we have never met in person, not yet, but hopefully soon, we definitely feel really close to each other. There's no doubt about that. So that's an added benefit of being part of a global mastermind, that you really do have friends all over the world, depending on the mastermind, of course, but that was part of ours. Let's talk a little bit about your background, if you don't mind. Just tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do.
Sure. So I am a career and a leadership coach. I have my own company. It's called She Connects with an X. And I'm a retired Procter & Gamble leader who now serves people and helping them find or create their dream career or their dream team. So I work with employees, I work with entrepreneurs, and I work with organizations. And what I do is I provide coaching, training, unique events, and that personal touch to help people reach their full potential.
Let's talk about our mastermind, and tell me why, to start off with, why you wanted to join a mastermind. I mean, how did you even hear about masterminding? And why did you think it was going to be something that would be beneficial to you?
I guess I became aware of the idea of a mastermind through my corporate work with P&G for over 25 years. There was certainly a sense of community for particular people who practice in a particular discipline, to be able to connect with each other to help grow and expand their own careers. And through the work that I was doing in my own community, right? So I was the president of many of the local women's network groups. I was highly engaged with them. I did strategic planning for many of them. And I was very philanthropic with my time and my treasure in my local community, because I really see the value of supporting other women versus being in competition with them. So I had been searching around in the online world for something like a live mastermind. And of course, the group that we were involved in, I found and got really entrenched in that Facebook group. And then when those mastermind opportunities came up, I knew that this is what I wanted to do. And part of that was really, getting to know the facilitator, right? So, Natalie Ekdahl of the Biz Chicks, I had been, huge fan of her podcast, and I had really admired her work and her experience that she was bringing to the podcast and to her Facebook group. So when she offered up a mastermind group, I was in, right? So I applied and got the answer back that, yeah, you're going to be in a mastermind group. So then it was really about waiting to find the right mastermind group for me, because that's the one thing I find with really great mastermind groups is the facilitator understands the necessity of curating the team. So rather than just take a bunch of people and throw them in a room and call that a mastermind, great facilitators understand the necessity of actually placing people together that they can see are of value to each other. And that's what really adds a whole new level of expertise and connection to that group.
Right. So, but why would you choose a mastermind instead of, let's say, just a business coach?
I started out with a mastermind because I wanted different perspectives. Like when you are entrenched in your own community forever, and, even after 25 years in my corporate career, I was starving for fresh points of view, literally starving for it. And I wanted to hang out and get to know some other businesswomen who were setting the world on fire, like in their own little corner of the world. I really wanted to be able to, look beyond the slick online ads and, the magazines and the podcasts, and really get to know the woman behind the brand, because that's what I do at my monthly success series. It's all about me becoming interested in someone, bringing them in, having a conversation with them so that I get to know her and her struggles. And then what ends up happening is you fall in love with her. And so you want to support her, and you want to support her in every way you can, including, buying her programs or buying her products and sending her referrals and, just offering up any expertise that you would have to share. And that coincides exactly what my idea of a mastermind was.
Right.
And so I couldn't wait to get into one.
Yeah. Yeah. I had done some business coaching prior to the mastermind, and I probably will do more business coaching. A mastermind is so different because the group dynamic is much bigger than it's bigger than the sum of its parts. Even though each part is valuable, when you put them all together, the brainstorming and the out of the box thinking. I mean, maybe it's not really out of the box, so super creative, but for you, when you're so inside your head all the time and keep I have the same ideas over and over again. I need somebody from outside to give me new input, something fresh. And here we have 8 other fresh ideas kind of working on my business. And another part of that is that I get to be creative with their businesses, and that makes me more creative on my own business. Right. So you benefit from giving and not just from getting. So I found that part of a group dynamic is really, invaluable. Yeah, you can't get that from one-on-one coaching. How do you think it impacted your business? So this is going back to that Facebook group and going back to, we had quite a long time together. We met every week for 6 months, and like really, I never missed a time. Everybody in the group was extremely committed. We had a fantastic leader, as you said, Natalie Ekdahl from bizchicks.com. She is a fantastic facilitator and continues to do more mastermind programs. We spent a lot of time together. So how do you feel that impacted your business?
Well, the first thing that I saw how it impacted my business was it increased my confidence. And, most people think I am a pretty confident person, but after being isolated in my home office for 2 years, like coming up on 2 years, I really was craving camaraderie with women who, got me. And so I remember our first session on our mastermind group, and everybody pops up on the screen like the Brady Bunch, and you can see who everybody is. And we started going around the table, kind of telling each other and who we were. And the entire time it was imposter syndrome galore for me, right? Because I was looking at you ladies thinking, oh my gosh, what am I doing in this group? Why did Natalie put me in this group? This is so out of my element. These women are rock stars. What am I doing? Like my head was just churning with this. And then by the second session, one of the girls had some team issues. And I thought, okay, that's why I'm here. And so what it does is it really starts to show you how you're perceived by others. It reminds you of what your unique capabilities are. And then it gives you an additional platform to share that expertise that you have and light up someone else's life. And then in the outcome of that too is that you walk away feeling inspired. And it also kind of gave me a bit of a kick in the pants to start to really maximize on those skills. Because when I first started my business, I had this crazy thought that I was going to be able to stand alone, that I was not going to have to rely on my Procter & Gamble background. Honestly, like I really thought I was going to be able to go out and create this fresh brand I would be the face of the brand, the intent of the work that I would do. Sure, it was going to rely on some of the skill sets that I have from my corporate career, but I really didn't want to lean on that corporate career. And it was through this mastermind. It was with you ladies reminding me that those skills and experiences are really kind of what helps me be who I am. So why am I not maximizing on it? And so that kick in the pants is what I really needed to make some significant changes in my business that has shifted me into all new directions, but it's certainly helped me grow my business.
Right. That's so interesting because, I think all of us, we have an outwards persona. You speak of the imposter system and lack of confidence, and women tend to suffer from this, I think, much more than men. Not that men don't have it, but women have it, multiplied factor. So, but because you're right, when we see you and somebody who has had, from what we know, about your career, you certainly have a wealth of experience that you can teach somebody, and that is invaluable. I mean, you can't go and get that in a year. You got that in over 20 years, 25 years. So that kind of experience is something. If you can summarize that and teach it to somebody, then that's invaluable. And you're right. Being a part of this mastermind like this, that really, really gives you, I want to say that it's an objective, other people's objective opinions of you. And it's hard to have an objective opinion of somebody who you like, right? Because we like each other. So, but, everybody in the group. So it's already not objective because we know each other personally and we like each other. But really it is, I think people are honest enough to be able to say, and that's the whole point of being a part of a group like that, is that you are honest. You're not, we're nice to each other, but we're honest. So you say, look, these are the great things that you have. You have to, own them, stand up to it, lean in, own yourself, own what you have. And on the other hand, these are the things that you can work on. or this is what you should be changing, or this is, this is something that looks kind of weak in your profile, whatever it is. So, and of course we're open to getting that kind of advice because that's why we're there, and nobody else is talking to us. Nobody else is giving us the advice that we want. So you welcome it. You're in a place of receiving, like you're ready to hear those things, because it's not your husband saying the same thing over and over again. Even if he has says it to you, then it doesn't matter because you're hearing it from somebody else. So it's interesting to hear you say that. And I'm just saying the same thing that you just said, but I totally agree with you. And your business kind of took a turn where you kind of embraced the encore career person. I think that was sometime in the middle of our mastermind where you realized this is really where your strength is, where people really are like you or like me, where we had previous careers. I mean, I'm exactly the same. And then what now? How do we use our talents? Right. So how's that going? How's that going for you now? The Encore Career Women.
The Encore Career Women is definitely the main focus of my people that I serve, for sure. What was interesting for me was that you and the other women in the mastermind group, what I really appreciated about it was the tough questions that you guys asked, that we asked of each other. Things like, well, why are you doing that? Why do you keep doing it?
Yeah.
Have you got any other ideas? How would you like it to be? And when someone asks you those questions from a place of true intention of wanting you to succeed, it's very easy to cut right to the root cause of your thoughts and share them, and then get some really practical strategies to move forward. Because for me, the shift of moving to the Encore career person and starting to concentrate on them really helped me define my niche and really helped me redefine my programs and my services so that I could serve that niche at a much higher level. So that was invaluable. The other thing about being in the mastermind was I was just so impressed with everybody in the group. I mean, honestly, I was so impressed. So what that did for me was when I knew that next call is coming up this week, man, oh man, I did not want to come on that call and be subpar or mediocre, right? So what it does is it propels you into a whole nother level of performance based on whatever your values are. And for me, I have a really strong sense of a need to belong, and I have a really strong sense of needing to make an impact. And so the ladies in our group were the fuel to keep that fire running. But in a really positive way, it really stretched me out of my comfort zone, and just being able to talk out and talk through strategies and ideas and concerns that I had with some really smart women.
Yeah.
I mean, it was totally priceless. So priceless.
Isn't that crazy? That's so true. It really is priceless, that experience. It's not easy. It's not always easy. Right?
It's not easy at all. And I remember telling you guys about that large Facebook group that I had, and that I was, waking up in the middle of the night with guilt about not serving them to the level that I really knew I was capable of and wanted to. And I remember that call, and you guys were saying to me, shut that Facebook group down, girl. And so I did. And so I did. And I remember I popped in, I did a Facebook Live on a Tuesday, told them I was shutting it down on Friday. And, highly controversial. And I explained why, but many of them were still, kind of bummed. But it was the best thing it was one of the best decisions I made in my business that year, was to shut that group down, create a new group, and where I can really show up with those women every day and really help them define their Encore career dreams and support the ones who have already leaped over. So just that one new, fresh perspective on my business was totally valuable.
That was that was a big deal because it really, that Facebook group that kind of symbolizes a lot for you. Like it really made a huge shift in all of your mindset and everything that you were working on and everything, all of your materials and all of your messages and everything you were able to make that switch, even though it was kind of, it was more of a mechanical thing that you did, right? You just closed one group and opened another one. And I'm sure some of those people came with you, but for you, it made a big difference in your business. And I think
it was the clarity.
Yeah.
It provided me clarity. And the other big outcome of the mastermind group was you ladies encouraging me to teach at my monthly success series. Because for well over a full year, those success series was all about the guest, right? It was all about making sure that the guest was showcased in a, highly positive manner and that I was being attentive to my audience. Never once did I talk about what I did. I never had any kind of call to action. I never showcased what I had to offer as a business owner. Never. And so it was sharing these, answering those tough questions that you guys used to fire at me that kind of brought all this information to the surface. And I remember the group, what do you mean? So then I ended up changing up that model as well, so that now I showcase a woman in 1 month, and then the next month I teach, and then an interview, and then I teach. And I just keep following that same model.
What kind of feedback did you get from that change?
Well, it was funny, but the largest crowds that I get are the ones that I teach.
Of course.
Which is sort of funny, right?
It's only funny to you. Because it's so obvious.
It's really been an eye-opener for me, because it just reminds me about how much I love to teach.
That's really nice to hear. We're going to finish up pretty soon, but so what do you think is the most important part of a mastermind for you? Now we finished our mastermind, or that mastermind, I should say, a few months ago already. I guess 3 months ago or 4 months ago. What do you think is the most value, or I don't know if you can say what the most valuable part of it is for you? Because people go into a mastermind wanting to improve their business. I mean, that's why we went in, right? That's where I went in, I should say. I went in because I want to have accountability. For me, I'm there for the accountability, really, and for the brainstorming. But I came out with friendships, which I did not expect. I wasn't there for that. I was, it wasn't even something that I had even thought about. Like, it didn't even cross my mind, right? So, because I really I'm the kind of person who needs kind of a deadline, and the accountability group, really is important to me. It pushes me forward incredibly, right? So it's like I need that kind of feedback, and also the brainstorming, like the new ideas. That was especially for people who are a little bit ahead of you in certain things. And as you said, you are ahead of other people in some things, and they're ahead of you in other things. And that's the beauty of our group. We had people in all different kinds of fields. But I think the personalities of each person were so different that that's what fed our businesses, right? Because we were all so different. Sorry, I asked you a question, but I'm talking. So what do you think is the most important thing for you that came out of the mastermind?
Well, in addition to all of those things you just mentioned, the biggest thing for me was I'm very executional. Like, it's just who I am. And at 55, I'm not going to change. So when I invested in this mastermind, my thoughts were, oh my gosh, I am going to take advantage of this to the nth degree. So it really lit a fire under my butt to make sure that I took full advantage of the months that we're going to be together. When I had a hot seat coming up, and I love the fact that you always knew well in advance of when your hot seats were. Because then what I would do is I'd start to create a list of, okay, what are my top concerns right now? Because I wanted to get the group perspective and really take advantage of what that hot seat could mean for me by having these brilliant women leaning in to help me grow my business. So I think the biggest thing I got out of being in that mastermind, beyond the things we talked about, like friendship and confidence and new ideas and, learning from all these other women's journeys that they had, was the idea that when you invest in yourself, it can pay off for you. Because I don't know about you, but I know for myself, I have bought programs in the past. I've paid for coaching in the past. I've bought, every 97 online self-teach program there is. I can easily buy into that stuff, thinking that once I have it, the miracle's going to happen, once I've made the purchase. But what I soon realized is that's not where it worked. The miracle happens in the work.
Yeah.
The miracle happens in holding yourself accountable. The miracle happens in actually taking the feedback, acting upon it, and doing something with it. Even if it means falling down, at least you've learned and you get back up and you move on ahead forward with it. So knowing that when you join a mastermind, it's going to be an investment in money and time, but it's so much more valuable will come out of it for sure.
That's interesting when you say that, because we didn't talk about the money at all, but because you can have a free mastermind, you can get your friends together or people together and set one up, and sometimes those work, but you have to be very, very dedicated, or somebody who's already been, like we've already been in mastermind, so maybe we could do that, right? And with other people who really know what goes on in a mastermind. But I think more often than not, if you go to a gym and you pay for a gym, then you're going to go to the gym. And if you don't, then it's so much easier to not go. So that's a good point that you made about the investment that you make. The monetary investment makes a difference as well.
The other idea, for masterminds is one of the things I did during our mastermind session was I hosted a live mastermind. So I brought 4 local business women together who all had very different businesses, brought them in for a full day, and then conducted a live mastermind with them for the day.
Oh, and right. That's right. So you brought them and you had them, you were the facilitator, and you guys had kind of a retreat, a 1-day retreat, kind of a mastermind where you were there, sitting there, everybody was together and working.
Yeah, it was definitely a working session. I mean, there was some fun worked into it, but we definitely did some high level profit planning for each one of these women's businesses. So it was a really fun opportunity to put your customer or client hat on for her and help her understand, if I was a customer of yours, here's what I would want. Here's what I'd be willing to pay. Here's kind of the up-leveling services that I would be willing to invest in. Like, it was so much fun. We dove right into each of their businesses.
Well, Shelley, thank you so much for coming onto the Strong Women's Club podcast. And it's an excuse for me to be able to sit and talk to you like this for a little bit. I wish we could do it a little bit more often. And let's just give everybody your URL. So if people want to meet up with you, so it's sheconnects.com. If anybody wants to, check out what you're doing and the seminars and the feminars and speaking engagements that you're doing. And it's all, helping women, especially encore people who are looking for their second or third or whatever career, little further to advance them with that, help them out with that. So that's She Connects. It's with an X, SHECONNEX.com, Shelley Warren. So thank you so much for coming into the program.
Thank you, Edie. So nice to see your face again.
Thank you again to Shelley Warren for coming onto the program and talking about our mastermind together, our mutual experiences, our benefits, what it did for us and what it can potentially do for you if you join a mastermind group. And as you know, or as you have guessed, I imagine, I am putting together mastermind groups also. There are both in-person groups and online virtual groups. The in-person groups are here in Israel, and they will also have an online element to them. And they are in the Herzliya Tel Aviv area. And the global groups that are only online, of course. So if you want to join an online group, you can be either in Israel or any place else in the world. And we'll figure it out. We'll figure out a good time that suits everybody, depending on where you are in the world, to join those mastermind groups. If you are thinking of joining one, please let me know, even if you're only just considering it and you don't even know for sure if it's something that you want to do, because I do need to plan the groups and see who fits where and when. So I will also schedule a 15-minute call with you to see what you're looking for, what your needs are, and how I can help you with them. So send me a short email. My email address is edie@thestrongwomensclub.com. And thank you for listening to this conversation. I hope you found it interesting. It gives you a little bit of background, some behind-the-scenes feeling of how a mastermind works and what you can get out of it as well. There's a new Work With Me page on my website that you can check out. That's at www.thestrongwomensclub.com. Have a look there. See if there's something there that interests you. I really, really appreciate you joining me here and now. Have a wonderful August summer week. Litroot, everybody. Ciao for now. Bye-bye.